want to say happy late birthday, Andrew.
Oh gosh.
Cyndee, yours is coming up, I believe, too. So.
Yeah.
Nice.
This is like the epitome of a class act right here, guys. This is so thoughtful. You guys didn't have to do this. And what got me on the verge of tears is you thought of my twins that are coming. Like, come on. Seriously, this is so adorable. Like, you guys went above and beyond. So whoever did the shopping, 10 stars. Amazing. I'm like, I need to get this recorded. So yes, me and my wife are expecting twins. Am I ready? Heck no, I am not ready. This is crazy. And I wanted to do this in front of everybody because I didn't get a chance to open this one up, but I'm sure it's some pretty dope swag. Let's see here. That's what I love. Nice. I love it. Thank you guys.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Enjoy, Andrew.
Very nice.
Any
Have some
blessings
kids
to your
be for us.
family.
Thank you so very much. That's so thoughtful, guys. The card is awesome. The clothes, like, everybody take notes. That's just classy.
Yep.
Thank you so
That's
much.
the way to do it.
That's
And
the way
you
to
did
do
have
it.
a good birthday. He spent it at Disneyland, like the happiest place on earth. So, you
Amazing.
know.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. Yeah. Thank
Cyndee,
you.
Eric told me that your birthday is coming up soon too,
It is.
right?
Yep. Yep.
So we're taking note of it. We got to send you
Okay.
something.
I'm not having
prepared.
twins. Just so you know. No twins for me.
No twins.
No twins.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I think we're safe to start. Eric, did you start recording? I'm not sure. I know that it was
Yeah.
happening
Yeah, it's
between-
recording already. I
Okay.
want to welcome
awesome.
in some new faces in the into the room here. We have quite some people that we haven't gotten the chance to meet. So welcome. You know, we try to do these every Wednesday at 6 p.m. EST. And it's just me and Jahira from Blackbridge Capital Partners, along with some partners that we have from our different companies too. And yeah, welcome everyone.
Thanks for having us. Super excited.
All right. So I did want to start out by just having you guys, I'm sure at some point you guys have been introduced indirectly or directly with everyone here, but I would like for you guys to just, tell us a little bit about yourselves so that we can get to know you a little more.
Ladies first. Ying.
Yeah. It is interesting because we are yin yang asset management and we just fit so good. So my background is I was an accountant for 25 years and I specialized in small business. And when you think about multifamily, every complex is its own small business. It has its own income, its own expenses, its own idiosyncrasies, things that happen. And so it was a very easy segue for me. And so I started doing multifamily in 2018. Right now I have 6 properties that I am part owner of. And then I have one property that I do a third party asset management. So I'm not on the GP. I'm just like a vendor for them and I do their asset management. I'm also part of Outlaws Capital. So that's part of the properties that we own. So my husband and I and another couple. Our son is married to their daughter. And so that the kids got in-laws. And when the adults would get together, we called ourselves the Outlaws. And we've known each other for about 30 years. And so we decided that it was a good thing to do together. And I personally love asset management. So that's why I partnered with Andrew. He has the other side of asset management. And sometimes people don't really know the difference. And so we'll definitely help you guys understand that. As far as my role as asset management, that means that I am in charge of the property as far as when the when the property is purchased, there's a GP team and they have a vision for that property. They have things they want to do. They have CapEx that they've set aside, and then they hire a property management company. And I'm the liaison between the GP and the property management. So the property management there, that's what their job is to run the property. So they're the ones that take care of toilets, tenants, and trash. Asset management, what I do is watch the financials, work with the GP, work with the property management. And so that's why Andrew and I just work really well together, and we created a course to teach asset management. That's not something that's really taught. We taught capital raising and underwriting, but asset management, there's not a whole lot of that. So him and I do that together. And so he can tell you on his part, because he's property management. Take it away, Andrew.
Yes, thank you so very much, Cyndee. So yeah, so as Cyndee mentioned, I am the yang to her yin. And what I have been focusing on for this will be my 15th year is I've been doing a majority of my experience in multifamily has been on-site property management. So I started from the bottom, now I'm here. And I started as a leasing consultant. I've done administration where I've done collection, rent collections, evictions. I've done lease auditing. The company that I work for here in Southern California, they are a huge company. They're a $16 billion company, very big company that's managed thousands and thousands and thousands of units. I've had the pleasure of managing up to over 550 units myself at any given time with my teams. So I was responsible for budgets, reviewing budget variance reports, kind of what we've talked. Well, I'm sure we will maybe go over a little bit about the insights of the day to day. So I've worked team structure teams, all those things that are involved with asset management. I've also done in the on-site perspective as well. So, and then I also am the owner of Elite Property Management, which is my property management company here in Southern California. We have properties in LA County, Orange County, Riverside County, San Bernardino County. So all the major counties here in Southern California. And it's been an amazing ride. I love asset management because I love property management. I love both. It's people say I'm crazy for still doing property management. I just really do enjoy it. It's really fun for me. I think it's it's a passion of mine because I don't feel like it's work. I don't feel like I'm clocking in every day. It's something that I enjoy, and it keeps my skills sharp being on the property management side. So Cyndee and I have story for story, drama for drama, all the fun stuff. But I do love strategizing. I do love taking a property that's not performing, reviewing their KPIs, reviewing their budgets, reviewing their assets and their team evaluation. And something that's a big passion of mine that may or may not be brought up is leadership. Leadership is a huge passion of mine because I feel like when you are in an asset manager role, you are a leader. These people are coming to you with questions and they're seeking answers and guidance. And so leadership goes very well together because you want to be someone who's calm, collective, who's going to be able to give them guidance when, the biggest issues happen and you're representing the ownership. So that's a big factor of mine as well. So I do bring that to the Yin Yang Asset Management team as well. So that's just kind of a little bit about me and my background. So, but yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Wow, thank you both. Something that I got a chance to hear in one of the I'm going to call it a workshop, but it's not a workshop. One of the Zooms that you guys were able to do was that you talked about, and I think I kind of joked with you and I said, language matters. I don't know if you remember that, but that to me was leadership in itself. You are already representing that relationship in a different aspect that many of us maybe don't think about. But that really stuck to me because I use that in another aspect of my life where I do believe that language matters. And so to kind of like wrap it up, right? You said instead of calling them tenants, we call them residents. And I love that. Could you expand a little on that for me?
Yes. So that's something that if you guys, she's dropping nuggets right now, by the way. So we're definitely write this down. But what language matters is huge because when you're talking to somebody, you want them to know that they are a person, they're an individual, not just a number, a unit number or an apartment number. So when you use language such as residence, you feel more part part of something like a community. And that's something else I use is I don't use the word complex. I don't like it. It's like it's nails against a chalkboard. So all of my teams, if you're going to work with me and you're going to work with my team, everyone has to be addressed as a resident versus a tenant, has to be, you're a part of a community. Welcome to our community versus complex. I don't like the word policy. It's a negative word. So I say, hey, it's our company practice versus a company policy. So that's another one. I'm trying to think of something. I don't like, even when it comes to leadership, I don't say, let me talk to Cyndee or let me talk to my manager. They're not allowed to say that. It creates empowerment. So I say, hey, Kevin King, I see you on my screen. Hey, sir, let me look into that for you. And I'm going to get back to you. Is that okay with you? Yeah, sounds good. So it creates ownership for me as the leader. I'm not going to call my manager, say, hey, would it be something I could look into for you? And then I'm going to get back to you. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to say, well, who you I'm going to talk to Cyndee. Well, then why don't I just go to Cyndee then? I don't need to talk to you, Kevin. I could just go straight to Cyndee. So certain things like, yes, language does matter. So thank you for sharing that, because that's really going to help you guys in terms of your asset management. That's going to be huge. So thanks for sharing that.
No, thank you. Cyndee, I do have to mention, we just saw you on the sponsorship call, and I will say the outfits were absolutely cute. I loved it. The cowboy hats, the red shirts, you guys did stand out.
We wear that to all events. No one has to question where are the outlaws. They know where they are.
They know where to find you. That's great.
Exactly. Yeah.
So to kind of, tie what we were just speaking about, Andrew talked about leadership. How do you feel like in your role, you come across as a leader? What is your style of leadership?
Well, Andrew's very good at teaching leadership, and I'm a great student. So that works out really well. But it's so important when you're the asset manager that you do have those skills, because you are talking, if you think about all the people that you talk to in a given day as an asset manager, you're talking to the property management, you're talking to the on-site. So that's the person that greets the resident when they come in. You're talking with the regional, that's the person that's going to be creating your budgets. Sometimes you're meeting with the owner because you want to make sure that your strategy is aligned with their strategy. Then you're also dealing with vendors sometimes, because often we'll do our own research when we're trying to do a big CapEx. So we've got people that we're talking to. And then on the GP side, you are talking with the people that have purchased the property. Sometimes you're part of that GP, but then you also have to deal with the lenders. So as an asset manager, we have to supply, if you think about it, the lender is your largest investor. They put the most money into your property, your lender. And so you have to have an excellent relationship with them. Every quarter, you have to send them the rent roll, the T12. If you're doing CapEx, sometimes they'll withhold money when you get your proceeds, and because they want certain projects done. And once those projects are done, then you have to send the documentation and do the follow-up to get the funds released. And so it is a process, and you're talking with, people that are vice presidents, and you have to be able to know how to speak with them and to present the information. I think that's one of the things I just consider myself an information gatherer. I gather all the information, come up with some possible solutions, and then, meet with the GP, meet with the lender. So you talk with a variety of people every day, and you have to be a leader. You can't say, I don't know, or, oh, I didn't think about that. Those aren't the answers they want to hear. Then they will have no confidence in you.
Wow.
I'm sorry, did you want to go?
No.
I was gonna say, I just added
totally
something in the chat. Part of the language is, that's another thing that it's really big. I don't like the expression "no problem," because then it was a problem in the first place. But I say, "Oh, you have a request? It's my pleasure." So it just makes you feel a lot nicer versus like, "Hey, can I get
Chick-fil-A?
Yes, Chick-fil-A. That's exactly it. How nice is
They
it when you go
always
to
say
Chick?
my pleasure.
It's my pleasure. Like, can I get a lemonade? Oh, we ran out of lemonade, but I'm gonna drive 26 miles to the other Chick-fil-A and I'll come back and I'll bring your lemonade. Like, there's so many fun memes out there. Like, it's hilarious. So, but yes, it's my pleasure versus no problem. Boo.
I love that. it makes you feel like you're being taken care of.
Yes. And yeah.
That is
Did I
really
understand you correctly? Oh, there's so many nuggets. Like I don't know. I don't want to take off. So like, Cyndee, did I understand you correctly? Did I hear you? Like, wow, you validated. You heard me. Yes, I did. Thanks, Shahar. Yeah. So cool.
No, I
The
love
one thing
that.
I did want to say when you were talking about community is how important it is to really create that sense of community. It's one thing to say it, but you really need to create it. So we have activities at all of our properties every month, at least one, often two. One is kind of self-serving because it's to help people pay on time. So we do what's called pizza and pay, or popcorn and pay, or some other word, popsicle and pay, where they come to the office, pay their rent, grab a piece of pizza, grab a popsicle, grab some popcorn. So that just kind of encourages them. It helps them remember, hey, if I don't pay it by pizza and pay, I have a late fee. Because the next day we do it on the day before late fees. So that just helps them to come in, and then every month we do some sort of activity. So yesterday at all of our properties, we had Halloween going on. they did costume contests. They had people with their trunks, people doing their they come into the leasing office. One of the things I will tell you is kind of funny. Now, when you have a property, you charge a pet fee. You always charge a pet fee because animals they may tear up something, and we just charge for pets. That's our policy. We have a pet fee, but sometimes people don't disclose it. And so I had one on site tell me, I think I've got some dogs that people aren't disclaiming. So I'm doing a pet costume contest. So people are going to bring their pets with their costumes, and then I'm going to make sure that I have the right people. So
That's funny.
Outside the
They're
box.
gonna jot it down. Next thing you know, they're gonna get an extra little line that says, "You owe for this."
I thought it was great. I was like, yes, please do that. So they did a pet costume contest because everyone's going to bring their pets because they're going to show them off, and then we're going to know. Yes, we do have
Absolutely.
a
That's
dog.
so
Everything
smart.
They're fur babies.
Yeah.
So I know that we kind of had the chance to introduce you guys and everything. But I would love to ask the question, like, what started you guys really investing into multifamily? Like, what was maybe that moment in time where you were like, this is for me?
For me, it was actually our son. We had two grown sons. It was our youngest. He was in his maybe mid-20s, and him and his buddy had come up with a plan that they wanted to buy a house, and they wanted to pay it, rent it, pay it off, and then buy another one. And they laid out this whole plan in front of their dad, in front of his dad, because he would be the financier, of course. And so it was a very good plan. But then we're like, yes, but it will take forever, one house at a time. So let's think about multifamily. Like maybe that would be better. And so he actually did some research and found us an ecosystem to join. And so we went through the program and started it. And so, yeah, it was our son actually.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I bet every Christmas he's probably like, you owe me a really good gift. You owe me a really
If
good
you
gift.
knew this son, you would know how true that is. He's my youngest, so he's, anyway. He's a delightful child.
Babies are usually the spoiled ones. The last ones are the spoiled ones. So
Right.
I get that too. I'm my mother's last child, so I definitely got spoiled by her. And so I want to pose the same question to you, Andrew. What was that moment in time where you kind of knew that this was going to be for you?
Well, it's funny because I started in multifamily when the whole people were losing their jobs, and I was looking for work, and a friend of the family said, "Hey, Andrew, would you be interested in blah 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 company?" And I remember I was just like having the worst luck finding a new job. I was like, is this a pyramid scheme or something? I don't want to get involved. And they're like, what? Like, no, don't you know this company? And I'm like, no. They're like, go home, look up this company. And then I said, I was like, oh my gosh, it's like multi-billion dollar company. And I'm like, oh my gosh, so sorry. so yeah, I was like, and this is back in the days when you would actually physically hand in a piece of paper and that was your resume, and then somebody put it on somebody's desk and then you got a phone call. Like this is back in the days. Like now it's all everything's digital and whatever. So I was really involved in multifamily. I got insight on it. I had a great leader. Her name is Christine Hanishi. She really put me under her wing and taught me all the ropes, like how to manually calculate occupancy, how to manually calculate availability, how to look at reports and just look at budgets and kind of strategize and why we do this and why we do that. And I didn't like it at first. Honestly, I thought she was the worst I thought she was the worst manager ever because she made me work for it. But then as I became in the leadership position, I started getting leadership roles, multi-sites, multi-communities under my belt, and I had other people working with me. I realized, wow, she saw something in me that I didn't even realize it was there. And so she was just training me and like getting me ready for my leadership role into an asset manager, multi-site manager. And so now I'm just super thankful. And all I want to do is just pass it on to the next generation of property and asset managers. So whichever path you choose. So that's kind of how I got started. And then similar to Cyndee, to a lot of us, I'm sure, saw something on social media, caught my interest, got involved in an ecosystem. And then I realized, man, like I really want to get involved with the syndication thing. So me and my wife, we've invested ourselves as LPs. So we're invested in property in Houston, Texas. And so we have multifamilies and we have single families, and we like both. I know, like, I'm not here. I really believe we all are adult enough to make your decision if you want to go which path you want to go. Duplex, triplex, single family, I'm very blessed. I have a little bit of a diverse portfolio, and I'm going to keep it that way. I just like having diversity. So that's having single families of my own and managing themselves, it's like a challenge for me. And I don't know why, I just like the challenge. And so, but then I also I like the easy mailbox money, as you will. But and then now it's just like, now it's addicting. It's like, it's kind of weird. Like now I'm like, I got that itch, like, oh, where's my next deal? Oh, when am I going to find the next deal? And I'm sure you guys are all probably the same way. Like, what's next? And so that's kind of how I started and kind of where I've kind of progressed to and where I'm at now. So.
No, amazing. I think that's that leader in you, that you want that challenge always, because a leadership position I feel like it's a constant challenge because you are helping other people come into their own. And that's a challenge in itself because, like you said, she saw something in you that you didn't see. And so you're constantly doing that for others. And that's work. So I applaud you for that.
I love it. I do. I really do love it. So, and I hope that one day we can all encompass this and do this the same. So when you're making it big and you got multiple properties and you can share that knowledge, because that's what it comes down to. It's just what's going to help the next person. Like, Ed Milet said, I think it was him that said, the best person you could help is the person that you used to be. So if you think about that, that's really cool.
I love that. I'm going to take that on with me. I absolutely love that. So to kind of elongate that question, right? How did you guys determine that asset management was for you? Like, is it that challenge that you like? That was it. Like, that kind of was the key to move forward with asset management. Because I know everybody in the beginning of their journey is trying to figure out, what role do they feel that they play best and where they can play to their, to their strengths. How were you able to make that assessment?
Cyndee's got a great answer. So
for me, it was super easy because I did an accountant. And so numbers are my thing. And I know financials. So it was when Outlaws Capital was created, my husband does underwriting, the other husband does the marketing, the other wife does all the contracts and attorneys, and then I do all the asset management. And so it was just very easy for me because I had already done that in my former life. So it just felt very natural. What I want to do though is, and Andrew and I, this is why we have our course that we're teaching and why we try to talk with people about asset management, is because it's kind of the forgotten role. Like, everyone talks about being a capital raiser or doing underwriting or being the investor relations and talking with acquisitions, but no one ever talks about asset management. And asset management can be very challenging, but very, very rewarding. When you see a property turn around that went from, you bought it from slumlords, which we did on one of our properties, and literally we bought it from a slumlord. Took us a year to get residents into our community and to have this cohesiveness where people, like where they live. It is their home. When you see that, it's just very rewarding. So I feel like we need to bring more awareness to asset management and how it's not the person that doesn't have a job gets asset management. Because today, when you buy properties, it's way too tight. Like, we don't have the luxury we had 5 years ago of buying something and writing out some time and selling it and making money. Now, every month we have to look at it. We're always fine tuning. We're always looking at, where can we increase the income? Where can we decrease the expenses? How can we help these residents? What are their needs? We do polls all the time of amenities, like what would they like to have? Because if we're going to spend money on CapEx, we want to spend it on things that they want us to spend it on. They live there. So I just feel like it's kind of a underplayed role, but it's super important, in my opinion.
No, I'm going to piggyback off that, because imagine this: you get an amazing deal, but then you have an asset manager that has, unfortunately, maybe not the skill set, the forward thinking, the leadership skills to maintain an amazing deal. That deal will go south extremely fast. But an amazing asset manager can come in there with a dysfunctional property, make it good, and make it an amazing deal. So the asset manager role is a huge role that could make it go north or south very quickly. And, regardless, like I said, with the examples I just gave. So yes, asset management, I don't believe there is a lot there. There's definitely an opportunity for more conversations like the one we're having here. So that, thank you for putting this together, because there needs to be an awareness of that the asset manager role is so imperative that somebody's finding the deal, right? You're talking to brokers. Let's go from the beginning. You're talking your broker relations, you're having calls, you get a deal, then you send it to your underwriter to review it, to underwrite it. And at this whole time in the background, you will have your team so you're raising capital, getting money together. And then at some point, there's going to be a period where they're like, all right, we're done. See when or Joe, here's pretty the asset manager. They're going to go on. Ideally, they're going to go find that next deal. They're on to the next broker calls and so on and so forth. And they raised all the money. So now Wendy and Jody, if you're the team for asset management, you're responsible. You're the primary person who's got to make sure things are going and being accounted for, make sure occupancy is being looked at, looking in the forward thinking, like what's going to happen in the future? How is our renewal capture ratio? What's our leasing velocity like? You're responsible for those next 3 to 5 years, guys. That's a very long time in comparison to the time. Yes, you're nurturing these relationships with your brokers, but at that point, once it's done, like, okay, I'm sorry, but hey, Jeff, thanks for that deal. Let me know if you get another one, and we'll keep in contact. But you're off to the next one, talking to Paul or Lewis or whatever. What I'm saying? See how fast that is. But yet now you're taking on this baby, and you got this thing for 3 to 5 years. And investors are saying, what's going on with our property? Where's my money? Where's my distributions? You promised me in this pro forma, right, that I was going to be getting this distributions, and at the end I'd be getting this return on my investment. Well, if things aren't getting that way, who are they going to look at? They're going to say, well, who's the asset manager on that team? Who's the, what's going on with that? So a lot of fingers, it could go, like I said, you could be the amazing superstar, or you could be the person everyone's pointing fingers at. Now, hopefully you have a team that collectively is working together where, you're not going to undertake everything, because you need boots on the ground, right? That's going to be doing, I call it drive-bys. We're going to be drive-bys, but of course. But yeah, visual drive-bys, something, like I said, Cyndee and I can go tons of stories. There's a fire, somebody crashed into a gate, water, there's a fire hydrant that got cracked, hit, and so there's water geysing everywhere. There's so many things that you need that team effort for, and I'm sure Cyndee can tell you again stories that she's been on site and worked on site for periods of time because of XYZ reasons. So yeah, the asset manager role is huge. I personally, the question you asked was, why did I get involved with it? I saw so much similarities into the property management role that carries over to asset manager role, But the difference is, as a property manager, I'm so focused. I'm on site and eye level. I love the asset manager role because you're in a helicopter. That's how I want you guys to think of that. You're in a helicopter overseeing everything. And so you need to have your wide lens goggles on, because you need to see things that, okay, what happened in the past, what's happening now, and what's going to happen in the future, and how am I going to lead these teams into success? You know, like I said, they're going to come to you with troubles. They may not come with you with successes, but it's kind of like you're going to succeed in quiet, but you're going to, you know, make sure they get all the success, like the on-site management team did, and how we're going to create culture. What I wanted to say to that subject and topic is really going to come from your office environment. It starts there. Your leadership will determine what your office on-site team is doing, and from there it spreads to the office. So imagine if you go into your office and everybody's on their computer, or everyone's like doing this on their cell phones, and you can't talk to anybody. Like, well, how's the team? Oh, they're always off. Oh, you know, I can never find Kevin. Kevin's always on break. Wendy's always doing this. I'm just looking at names. Paul, he's always on vacation. I can't find Paul, the maintenance supervisor. So that's already creating a negative environment. So you as leadership has to set those expectations, have to make sure they're clear and concise, and make sure they dress code. Like we talked about this on one of our classes, like even the dress code and appearance. Are you coming in with your, I sent a team member home because they came in with like super earrings, nose stuff, hair was all crazy, shirt was like all wrinkled. I was like, hey, can I talk to you in my office for a second? I said, at the end of it, you are representing this business, and right now you're not giving it the best representation. So what I would like you to do is go ahead and clock out, get rearranged, and you're welcome to come back. And so they did. They came home, they went home, they shaved, they cleared everything out, and what a difference. Everybody was like, Andrew, I'm like, it's just business. Like, we're all adults here, guys. So yeah, they represent you as ownership, and they're going to give that off feeling to the residents at the end of the day.
Okay, so you guys definitely touched based on my next question, which I love.
Cool.
And I hope I were able to expand a bit. But how would you say, like, what strategies do you guys implement for tenant satisfaction and retention? And I know you guys touched based on like the community events, which I absolutely love. As a community educator, I'm at community events all the time, so I love that. So that's something that I applaud you guys on, because you know, a lot of the times, you know, these apartments, right, where the residential areas, they might not have the same opportunities to go to the community events. For you guys to bring it to them, it's amazing. But yes, to my question. Sorry, I went on a tangent for a moment.
Go ahead, Cyndee. You can share yours, and I'll go mine next. I'm excited to share some too.
So your question was how we create a sense of community?
Well, how do you
Retention?
maintain tenant satisfaction and retention?
Okay. Well, the number one reason people move is maintenance does not get taken care of. That's the number one reason. So that's for retention.
Everybody should write that down. Everybody should write that down now. Why do people move out? The reason why, number one, I don't care what state you are, what city you are, is deferred maintenance, guys. So you have to, exactly, thank you, deferred maintenance. People hate it when they put in a maintenance request and it just goes into the black hole. So thank you, Cyndee, because that's golden, right?
Yeah, that's why they move out. So we make sure our work orders are answered to within 24 hours. If they can get it fixed, they fix it. If they order the part, they tell them we're ordering the part. I have a call every week with my property management on all my properties. And I have them tell me what work orders they did during the week and what is still outstanding. And boy, they don't want to tell me anything's outstanding. So that's one of the things is if there's a problem, we take care of it. We're very lucky in the 4 properties that we own are in the same city. And so the maintenance guys get to rotate weekends. So that's super nice. We don't have to pay a lot of overtime because they just rotate on a week. They have the weekend. But what that means is that if something happens on the weekends, we're right on it. Someone's right there to take care of it. So that's our biggest thing with retention, is making sure maintenance is done. Also making sure that the property itself looks nice. Like we make sure that we do the landscaping, because we want people to want to live there. We don't want them to live there because it's their only option. We want them to be able to come in and say, this is a beautiful place to live. You know, we renovate most of our apartments so they have everything that's modern. So we want them to want to live there. We want them to feel like it's home. So then one of our properties is very secluded, but it had no community center like area. So we put in a pergola and a barbecue grill and picnic tables. They use it all the time. And before they had no place to really gather. So that's another thing is we always make sure we have a kind of a gathering spot in the community as well.
Man, I could do a whole nother session on this part because I
know you
just
could.
it's
Part
Yeah,
two, we need a
so-
part two.
Yeah, we'll have you
yeah,
come back.
seriously.
We'll have you guys
Yeah.
back.
We are gonna have to do part 2.
So think about this, guys. This is the place of sanctuary. This is their safe place. They want to come home to a place they can feel safe and they love. Who wants to come home to a dirty place like Cyndee was saying, like trash all over the place, dog poop on the grass? You're not going to want to invite your friends. You're not going to want to invite your family over. I've been at places where it's not the most expensive, but by keep maintaining it, keeping a good aesthetics, the residents will feed off of that, and then therefore they won't leave trash. But I don't care if it's an expensive building and there's trash being left or dog poop left, people will follow suit, right? So yes, it's imperative that we as the leadership, as asset managers, and make sure that your on-site managers understand your expectations. You're doing these property walks, guys. It's not something you're going to kick back in Hawaii and you're like asset managing far and you're not doing any on-site. Like you need to be visually inspecting, checking, whether that's pictures, cameras, physically going there. You need
All
to
the
understand all the above what's going on. And so seeing it, hearing it, feeling it, smell, whatever it is, you're going to get so much more information than just, not being there. So that's one thing. Number 2 is my KPIs. I specifically have a KPI. What's the resident ratings? Whether that's Yelp, Google, Apartmentstock, like whatever the platform is, excuse me, you have to be asking for that information. So it's going to be scary at first, guys. I understand it's going to be worrisome. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm afraid to ask residents what they think of us because I'm afraid they're going to tell us something bad. But you know what? Change that mindset. The quickest way to a positive outcome is maybe just finding out what's not working. And I'm going to say that again. The quickest way to the positive outcome is finding out what's not working. So if you go to somebody and say, hey, James Sneed, hello, sir. Thank you for being a resident. I would love your feedback. Oh, you don't want my feedback. Respectfully,
Yes,
sir,
I
I would
do.
love to hear feedback. I would love to hear feedback because I want to know what's not working so we can bring light to it and we can fix it and create something, a solution for everybody. Because maybe something that you don't like, maybe another resident doesn't like. Okay, fine. You know what? That's fine. Let me tell you what's wrong. And then boom, you're gonna fix it, guys. Like that's so imperative, guys, to find out what's not working. And then once you find out what's not working, though, you have to fix it. Or say that's something I'm gonna look into and try to look, if it's something ridiculous like, oh, you guys should give me free rent. Okay, Mr. Sneed, I understand that's something, but that's a monetary thing. That usually tells me, and this is another golden nugget, guys. By you telling me you want something less expensive, you don't find the value in what you're receiving now. So let's dig into that a little bit. Where are we missing the value? Well, it's blah, blah, blah. My carpets haven't been cleaned in 6 years and the previous owners never fixed this blind. Okay, so that's a maintenance related item. It's not really, you want cheaper rent. It's just you don't feel that something hasn't been taken care of. Am I understanding you correctly? Yes, that's correct. Okay, so you mean to tell me in my head, I'm thinking for a $50, $60 carpet clean or whatever that is, and I replace the blinds that are 8 years old anyways in your kitchen, what do you feel I'm understanding you? Do you feel that would help you? Yeah, I would feel that would help me. And then guess what, guys? That's such an easy win. Just get the carpet clean. Just take care of that 8-year-old blind that hasn't been replaced. That's still missing the string or that's just missing a pole or something. And now he's going to be in your corner. He's going to be like, man, Kevin freaking killed it. He came in, he took care of that within 48 hours. I love this community. Great. Now that you love it, tell us anything else. And then would you mind just letting us a review, giving us a review on Yelp or Google? Because guess what? That's going to help your leasing velocity. It's like a domino effect. Because now by putting that positive review on there, the next person who does, the drive-by, oh, let me look on their web. Wow, they had not such good reviews, or maybe they do have good reviews. Megan Pierce, Amazing person. What a breath of fresh air. She's the new sheriff in town, cleaned up this place. It's amazing. I recommend it. And that's what's going to help you with your leasing velocity. Cyndee can tell you about they did a referral bonus at hers. And I think Cyndee, was it like you tripled your net leasing capacity that month or something like that?
Yeah, we did. Well, the gift card one.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think it was something where I know we're kind of getting close to time. She wanted to increase her leasing velocity, but instead of as asset managers saying, you're going to do what I say, she asked the onsite, what do you think? And that's a collaborative effort. And she went on a limb and said, hey, I'm going to listen to what the onsite said. And by listening, they tripled their velocity. And all they needed was a little bit of asking and guidance, and tripled their net leases. Awesome job. But yes, that's part 2. I'm gonna go on and on, so I gotta be respectful.
No worries, no worries. I actually wanted to sort of piggyback off of that. Just obviously listening to your residents, and just keeping an ear to the street, I guess you could say, right? Have you guys found it that it's difficult to do this from property to property? I know, Cyndee, you said that you mentioned that you have 4 different ones in one state. So I don't know if you can speak to this as much, but do you guys find it hard to sort of implement these in different areas depending on sort of the community? Or do you find it that it's pretty universal?
I have found that people are people, and it's pretty universal. And actually, I have properties in Mississippi, Texas, and Kentucky. And so it really works for me, because sometimes I'll have something that works at one property and I'll have another property struggling. And I'll just say, hey, have you thought about trying this? And so it helps, it works. It really does work. So I think that I have found that basically people are people, and typically what works for one will work for all. Sometimes you might have to, one thing, like, for example, we'll run a spiff, or we'll do a $200 gift card drawing for new leases. So like every lease that month, someone gets drawn, they get $200. We might do that at one property. Another property is closer to colleges. And so college students are probably going to want a big TV rather than a gift card, because they can ask their mom for money for food, but they can't ask their mom for money for a TV. So we'll give away a TV. So you have to kind of know a little bit of your demographics on that, but usually what works for one will work for all. And it's good. I like to try it on all my different properties to see how it works.
I love that. Wendy Acosta just wrote in the chat, it takes leadership humility to ask for feedback, and I couldn't agree more, Wendy. Yeah, I think that's a great way to do that.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing, Cyndee. Andrew?
Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry, the question again. I'm sorry.
Oh yes. Do you find that it's hard to implement sort of the same community building and keeping your ear to the residents? Do you find it hard to implement it in different areas throughout the country, or do you find it pretty universal?
I'm gonna say the same thing as Cyndee. Everyone is the same. I have like I'm gonna mess the expression up, but everybody puts their pants on one leg at a time, kind of thing, or like they put their socks on one foot at a time. It's like you put your cereal first, then your milk, unless you're psycho and you put your milk first and then your cereal. But no, I'm just kidding. Everybody has the same thing. It's like we're all humans, right? And I think what helped me as a leader is to, and again, I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but the residents are humans, and I used to put them on a pedestal too much, actually. So there could be negative if you put them too much, and say, hey, at the end of the day, like, I want to help you. And you just kind of, this is something that's going to take practice. This is not something I learned over time, but the speed of your conversation, the tonality of your conversation, as well as the word expression that you use. Like, hey, Eric, I understand this is something that's very sensitive to you. And from what what I'm hearing is that this is a very sensitive topic to you, and it means a lot. Did I understand you correctly? Like, that is a skill set of what I just did. Like, real life using that, and then understanding just to be quiet. And then you have to let them talk, because what we're not comfortable with is eerie silence. Like right now, just me not talking, you're like, okay, is he gonna say something? Like, what's going on? So if you ask a question, hey Eric, how does that work for you? Or help me explain to me more so I can better understand. And then just stay quiet. Most of you guys can't do it, unfortunately, not yet. It takes practice, and it's something you're gonna work on. So when you're speaking with your regionals, when you're speaking with your vice presidents, I was taught during my leadership training previously is they're thinking about it, guys. Not everyone is the same. Some people, and we talk about this, is I call it the DISC personality test. Either I won't go into the avatars because I was about to go on the avatars, but you're either like very direct, you're influential, you're steady Steve, conscientious, oh my God, Catherine. So there's different, there's different personality types, and Cyndee knows this, but you have to understand what kind of people you're talking to in order to best respond to them and communicate with them. So this is a whole skill set that we go over, that we talk about, but yes, it's just, it's something you have to practice and you get better at, but yeah, regardless of what city, state you are in, we're human. Everyone's human, and you just have to understand who you're talking to, and then how do you communicate with them? That's what I'll leave that at with.
Yeah, I want to add to that. I did have a property that was in distress. I actually lived there for almost a month. And we had a resident that abandoned the unit, and we put a notice on there, and the stuff got set out and then she comes back like 2 weeks later and was like, hey, where's my stuff? And I was sitting with the on-site, and the on-site was like, we did the abandonment letter, it was posted, and there was no communication. We tried to reach you, and the stuff was sat out. And she's like, well, where's my stuff? And they're like, we don't have it. Like, it was abandoned unit. And so the lady was talking, and the on-site would say, well, what would you like me to do? How can I help you with this? And she was so calm. And I mean, I was so impressed. And I had to think she has to be nervous because I'm an owner, I'm the asset manager, and I'm sitting in the office, and we've got this irate woman in there. And it was beautiful. I had to tell her afterwards, I'm like, thank you so much how you handled that, because she just kept saying, how can I help you? What can I do? Because there was nothing. I mean, at some point, the woman had to just say, well, there's nothing you can do. Okay. But she had to keep letting her talk, and we just kept asking her and was very patient. How can I help you? Tell me how I can help you.
And I will say this, out of experience, don't jump to offering them money. It's an insult.
No.
So you don't have, it's for one, so you mean you just want to throw money at me? I was like, oh, I learned that early in my career. Like, oh my gosh, I just screwed up. Hey, Paul, what could I do to make this situation better? Or how can I meet somewhere in the middle? Like whatever expression that you naturally say, but it's just coming from a helping perspective. Like, what can I do to alleviate the situation, or what can I do to help you? Don't jump to money. That's something. And the rebuttal to that is, I've had people say, give me this much money. I said, well, sir, respectfully, giving you $500 is not going to fix the situation, depending on the situation, of course. I said, what I would like to do is truly, truly fix it. And by fixing it, what I would like to do is create an action plan. This is what I want to do. How does that sound to you? Oh, okay, that sounds better. Okay, great. But yeah, don't always initially throw money at them. And at the same time, if people just want money, it's like blood in the water, and then everybody knows, okay, they're going to keep giving this money. So you don't want to do that either. So find that happy balance.
Yeah. And here's the thing, happy residents talk to each other. Unhappy residents talk to each other. So you get to control that conversation. Are they going to be saying, hey, the property management sucks and they do nothing? Or they can be saying, they listen to me and they take care of it. I know when I talk to them, something's going to happen. And you can control that dialogue, but they're going to talk. 100%.
Yep.
You guys are an abundance of knowledge. Thank you so much for sharing all that.
You're welcome.
We love it.
We can talk for a long time.
I say, yeah, hopefully we can just keep going. If we didn't have our class, like we would love to keep going. I know I talked to you guys about this, Eric, before. I was like, man, let's do this, but we just got to make sure
I know.
we
you
get all
guys,
the
of
valuable
course.
insights in time. Yeah, because
Yes.
we don't, yeah, we love it. We absolutely love this.
Like you
Our
said,
classes are Wednesday night, so.
oh, perfect. Yeah, and if anything, like I said, we could always do a part 2 in a couple of weeks when you guys have some available time. We'd love to have you guys again for sure.
Well, hopefully we brought value to everyone here, like the ones who are still in the class. If they have any questions, or I don't want to take this away from you guys, but whatever you want to do now, we've got minutes left.
Yes,
Yeah.
no, for sure. We always leave a little bit of couple minutes at the end for people to ask questions. So if anybody in the audience does have questions, feel free to
Quick
go ahead.
question.
But yeah,
Emphasis.
The host has a
no
question.
No confession and no question, but this was awesome. I really appreciate it. We're looking at taking down a community.
There you go. I love it,
There you
James.
go.
That is
That's
the
Mr.
smoothest
Steve, he
hat.
knows.
That is the smoothest hat and profile pic ever. I'm actually very jealous. So
But it's been very valuable because we're gonna probably be the asset managers for it, and we haven't been an asset manager before, so it's going to be pretty challenging for us. But thank you very much, appreciate it.
You're welcome.
we'll keep coming to these calls. It looks like Eric and Jahari, they're kicking butt. So keep coming to these Wednesday calls.
Will
Yeah.
do.
You. Because I want to be respectful of the time, I'm gonna just kind of jump really quickly to my last question, and it can be very brief, but I really wanted to ask, because I asked this at the end to everyone that I usually have here, and it's, how has multifamily changed your life? I think it's important to let everyone know how much of an impact multifamily can be in someone's life.
Go ahead, Cyndee. You ladies first.
Well, I love being busy. I do better when I'm very busy. That's just my personality. And so multifamily has kept me very busy. But I just feel like I can help impact people's lives. I really do. Like with the complexes that we buy, we turn them into communities. We want people to be happy. We want them to feel safe. And I just feel like we're able to do that. And then for me personally, part of it is creating a legacy. Like I have children that I want to be in this business as well. And I love like mentoring. I put my calendar in the chat feed. I love to, if you have any questions, jump on my calendar. I'm happy to talk to you about any part of multifamily and how I can help you. And then if you are wanting to find more about asset management in particular, our website's on there because we have our classes, because we really want people to be successful. Like I'm super happy when I see people being successful and know that I played a small part of that.
That's absolutely beautiful. Thank you. So everyone, you heard it. She has her Calendarly in the chat. Book a call. Join the course.
Yep. We have a Facebook page that's asset management and multifamily. Get on that. We put content on there all the time. Andrew and I have a podcast where we talk about it. And there's lots of resources available. And we want to help you. If you have specific questions, reach out. Let us know.
Awesome.
Yep, please do.
Andrew, I know that we're at the time mark, so I'm so sorry. I don't know. Would you want to answer? Do you want to save it for part 2? I'm cool. We can start with your part
Yes, I would say let's do part 2 because I feel like this is such a high level topic and there's so much insight to be spoken on. So if you guys have questions, I would highly recommend going to your Facebook page. I know you guys have a Facebook page, right? Go on there, put the comments. How did you guys like this? Let them know what topics do you guys want to hear more about on their next Wednesday call. What was it? What was your biggest takeaway? What did you love about the call? And then if that's something that where Cyndee and I brought value, maybe again we can come on. If you put never bring them back again, that's okay too. Just kidding. But yes, it's the podcast name is Yin Yang. Is it Yin Yang Asset Management? Pretty much everything is Yin Yang Asset Management. So Kevin, that was your question. And yeah, we'll be in touch, guys. We're not going anywhere. We're gonna be here. So we're
Thank
invested.
you so much. This is an amazing group. You guys
Yes,
have it
thank
going.
you.
Thank you.
You guys are super classy. Keep it classy.
Keep it classy. Thank
Awesome.
you,
Thank you
too.
guys again for taking your time today. And have a great class.
Yes, we will. We're super excited for that too. So
Bye, guys.
catch you later, guys.
Bye-bye.
Have a great night. Thank you,
you.
everyone. Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right, thank you.
What a great call.